My name is Linda Cross. I will be talking to you today about top downs and bottoms up. It's not ability. Reading happens as a learned skill and is taught with an intentional guided process. Different models have been introduced by educators and scholars who seek to improve their understanding of teaching children to read and to learn to read. The top-down and bottoms models are the most efficient and usually elite debate on which approach favors literacy development. Both models were strength, weakness, and implications of students, particularly through the terms of historical context, educational research, and practice. The bottom-up model focuses on linear and hierarchical reading, which begins with the tiniest aspects of reading letters and sounds and proceeds to bigger ones, which are words and sentences, and the final all understanding. Finest awareness, and finest is the model form, the basis of getting to read. They hold what is termed as the building blocks of reading, decoding, and fluency. The strategy assigns with what Marx described with 5 essential elements of adequate reading, instruction, phonics awareness, phonics fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. Louisa Marx is one of the most ardent advocates of the bottom-up approach. With her work on structural literacy of having enormously impacted current reading programs. Structural literacy is important for semantic and split instruction and phonics, especially for students with reading problems, such as dyslexia. As stated by Marx, explicit instruction on language structure enables children to get insight into how written languages operates, thus allowing them read more fluently and adequately. Nonetheless, the bottom-up model has also been criticized as being more inclined to use mechanical skills rather than proper involvement with text. When applied strictly, it can turn reading into a set of exercises and writing papers that make reading less enjoyable and interesting to students. Conversely, in the top to bottom model, reading is seen as a process of making meaning, where the reader has a vital role in meaning creation by using background knowledge, context clues, and predictions. The model focuses on complete text and authentic pieces of literacy instead of isolated skills meaning. One of the most influential theorists of this movement, Ken Goodman, referred to reading as a psychological reading game in which enables readers hypnotize and verify meaning through their knowledge of the world and the language they are reading. The top and bottom models assign strongly with a whole language approach, which thrived during the 1980s and 1990s. These ideas were sealed down and interpreted by teachers such as Lucy Calkins into what was called balanced literacy, which its attempt was made to marry phonics methods of instruction with the more holistic goals of reading. Critics, however, such as Emily Hartford and Natalie Wexler, have stated that most balanced literacy programs do not give adequate phonics instruction. Hence the reading gaps, particularly among the disadvantaged. Although the top-down model promotes reading pleasure and appreciates literature context, there is a tendency to presume that enough experience, children will learn to decode. This assumption may result in chronic reading difficulties in many learners, particularly those who lack language support in their homes. A growing body of scientific evidence supports the view that content, knowledge, and vocabulary are the gate to understanding. Researchers such as Sally Newman and others have clarified that scaffolding background knowledge is crucial in comprehending a complicated text, and this is applicable regardless of the teaching method. On top of that, the pleasure of reading cannot be ignored. Students can lose interest when the instruction is excessively mechanical, as it is sometimes in bottom-up classrooms, excessively unstructured, as it is sometimes in top-down settings. Therefore, an effective reading program should combine skill building and meaning making. Children need to be taught how to read fluently, but they also need to read rich and meaningful texts that develop curiosity, knowledge, and desire to read. Conclusion. The top-down, bottom-up model does not exhaust the complexities of reading development. A better solution combines the advantage of both through structural literacy. The solid building blocks of decoding skills are well established, whereas authentic literature and content-based curricula allows the fostering comprehension and delight, using a combination of clear direction with meaningful interaction activities. Teachers can make reading process both productive and fun. The balanced approach is rooted in evidence and presents the best odds of success for our learners in the modern classroom. How did I read?